Nyingma Chimbo to the Nyingma has on the Malan Chimbo Abjato, Pakar Tangan Santo Shermado. Tumba took Jan like a Jan Sar, Yonda Sanji Gundanyam Naya, Quatan Sanji Lejan Labangon, Savela Mainam La Sorvante, Dawson Drove Lorna. Chula jer tuzum dungar jena jejen nyar tsome hoi hyar jela so simjen don la nyar de dangzan tamba nam je nim de zar de zo kandak shok je dong jik de na der sha lomer jerwa gansa doi tangdar tome chu ji chan pe ji zambran do pa tam dar sha lai ga da le da nob jen ga trum da da me ye ga nam da ro gan ye dar ga je zan pa tam God don't learn your worship. You can open a window if you want. Okay. So before teaching, we recited the opening prayers, right? So that the four measurable prayers, because as you know, we have to correct our motivation. So it's these four measurable prayers are really important prayer. So we are very fortunate to have this prayer, and reminds our bodhicitta. And then we recited the Heart Sutra, because Heart Sutra is the main teachings of the Buddha. And we all the time we do this, so we familiar, right, to us. So that's very, very important. Now we've done that, then today we're going to begin our teachings on the three principles or aspects of path, written by Lama Tsongkhapa. Very, as I said last night, very important teaching. So traditionally, we give a little sort of introduction about the writer before you receive teaching on the text. Especially my root teacher, Khenchen Jigmé, always whatever he teaches, before he teach, then he introduced, the writer. So it's kind of, that's kind of very important, because then you know who is the writer and the biography. So it's kind of important. So that's why I would like to begin with that. So Tsongkhapa was born in 1357 in northeast Tibet. Today, the location of his birthplace is called Khenpo Monastery. I've been there probably 3, 4, 5 times. It's large monastery and it's very beautiful. So there was, the Tsongkhapa's birth, the location of his birth. And then at the age of 3, Lama Tsongkhapa, he took lay vows from the fourth Karmapa, the Karmakarja lineage, fourth Karmapa. But his main teacher, of course, was Tondab Rinchen in Tibetan, Tondab Rinchen, who gave him the most of the teachings and a lot of sort of, Geluk, empowerments and all of that. So that's why his main root teacher. He has lots of root teachers, many teachers, but I've just give you the his main teachers, and so Tondab Rinchen was his root teacher, and at the age of 16, he went to Lhasa, which the Tibetan capital, Lhasa, and then he never returned to his homeland. In Lhasa, he studied with more than, I think, like 50, different Buddhist scholars. He lived in Lhasa, and there are three large monasteries in Gelug tradition, like Dripong, Sera, Garden. So, but he lived in the Garden Monastery, and he studied there like many with many different teachers, and then he and eight other people did a long retreat, and they practiced together, the preliminaries, and they did a lot of prostrations, so that's why Gelug tradition, they love, do this kind of prostrations, because Lama Tsongkhapa did, and so that's why, and he learned much about Madhya Maka, the middle way, about emptiness, emptiness. But during the retreat, he felt that he still did not have a proper sort of understanding of Madhyamaka, the emptiness. So he found a Nyingma teacher called Namkha Jansen, and he then Lama Tsongkhapa received the Dzogchen teachings from this teacher. And then he went back to retreat, retreat, and so then, of course, he understood emptiness. He actually is very scholarly, like Madhyamaka, about emptiness. He learned that from different 50 teachers like that. And then top of that, he received Dzogchen teachings. So therefore, now he's like, so he is ready. And then he went back to retreat. That's like he did that. He practiced a lot. And it is traditionally said that he did four great good things, like four great deeds during his life. Four. First, after the retreat, he and some other his disciples restored a great Buddha Maitreya Buddha statue in Lhasa. If you go there, you can see it still is there. Huge and Maitreya Buddha. That's his first. And then second is extensive work on the Vinaya. Maybe you don't know what is Vinaya, but the code of monastic discipline, influenced the way monks conduct themselves, so they could live in accordance with this discipline. So he wrote a lot of Vinaya sort of commentaries, and that's very great. He did that second. And third, he established the annual Great Prayer Festival in Lhasa, which is celebrated around the time of the Tibetan New Year. we call garden ngamchit chimo. So that's very like thousands monks and people are gathered, and then they pray, and they have this kind of prayer festival in Lhasa. Still is going on. And then the fourth, he found the Geluk tradition of Tibetan Buddhism built on the new Kadamba tradition, the legacy of Atisha, because when, at the age of 7, actually, he experienced visions of Atisha. And that's why he, had a great connection with new Kardamba tradition. So therefore, he found the Gelug tradition of Tibetan Buddhism, and then he was also a great writer, and he left, I think, 18 volumes of collected teachings on the most important text in Tibetan Buddhism. I studied his the Madhyamaka commentaries a lot when I was at Tibet, and it's amazing. It's very, very good commentaries and like that. So it's a very good teacher. So we are very fortunate, So Tsongkhapa also, it's written in many Gelug Tibetan texts that Tsongkhapa was a manifestation of Pamasambhava. They said that we always, my root teacher, Khenchen Jigmé Phuntsok, always say, like Tsongkhapa was a manifestation of Pamasambhava. There's Pamasambhava and Tsongkhapa is inseparable, they are the same. So that's Tsongkhapa. And he passed away at Garden Monastery, as I said, in Lhasa, a very large Gelug monastery. So he passed away at the age of 62. So that is, Tsongkhapa's, brief sort of biography, and introduction. If you want to learn more, then of course he has lots of biographies. It's in English, in Tibetan, so you can do that. But today I just give you a little bit sort of biography. So then maybe many of you don't know who is Tsongkhapa, Lama Tsongkhapa. So. So that's the teaching now, the three principal aspects of the path. That's the writer Lama Tsongkhapa, Tsongkhapa. So now we the teaching. Originally, this teaching is from old and new Kadamba masters, both, old and new Kadamba masters. So that is, we call like universal teaching, which means it is not only for, Gelug tradition. It is a very important universal teaching, So it's not some sort of, exclusive Gelugpa thing, You have to understand that. All these 4 Tibetan traditions contain these 3 principles. So, don't hold the misconception that the 4 tradition practice are very and totally different, very differently. Don't think that. You cannot say that, Karjit, Satya, and Nyingma, Gelug, their, renunciation are different. How can we say that? No, this is, you will know that these 3 principles, renunciation, bodhicitta, you can't say Gelug bodhicitta, or this is Gelug bodhicitta, this is Nyingma bodhicitta, this is Gelug renunciation. Renunciation is renunciation, right? So they have a little bit, of course, different instructions from different teacher, but the renunciation is, you will understand what is renunciation. But so So that's why. So this teaching. That's why we call it universal teaching. My teachers always say that. So okay. So. They're not different, so they're not different. So we have a different tradition, Tibetan, Gelug, Karjin, Nyingma. These are we have a different lineage and different little bit, instructions, but the essence of the teaching and all they're the same. They're not different. We have to understand that, and they're not contradict. We have to understand that, this is a small text, right? This is very small text, but it contains the essence of the entire teachings of Buddha. Okay, you have to understand that, and the actual explanation of this text is divided into three sections. The explanations of renunciation, the explanations of bodhicitta mind, bodhicitta, and the explanation of the correct view of emptiness. Okay, so that those of you who are not interested in sort of attain enlightenment, then this text is useless. Renunciation, bodhicitta, emptiness, so if you want a sort of, calm mind, peaceful mind, that's all. If you want, then this text nothing, it doesn't help you, it's useless. But for those people who are looking, to attain liberation, this is such an important teaching, so these three are called three principal, essential paths to liberation. So I want you to understand why they are called three principal paths to liberation. Because, as I said, it contains the essence of the entire teachings of Buddha, So that's why this text, in Tibetan we say Lam Tso Namsam. Lam means path. Tso means like, the essence, important, the, essential. Namsam means there are three, renunciation, bodhicitta, and emptiness. Okay, so this text is very famous, the most famous actually, in the Gelug, teaching. So this is because it contains, it's such small text, like 2-3 pages. It contains entire teachings of Buddha. So that's why, normal person cannot write that kind of text, cannot. Lama Tsongkhapa has a vision, of course, Manjushri. Actually, his manifestation of Padmasambhava, so therefore he is not just an ordinary person, so he can do this. He can, all entire the teachings of Buddha, he can, put into these three principles in small texts, so that's unique. Normal person can't do that, for sure. No matter what, you're a scholar or whatever, it's just you can't write, so therefore this is not just, a text, this is actually a very sort of like through, this what I've called blessings, from Padmasambhava, Manjushri, Lama Tsongkhapa himself. So this is not just a Buddhist text, it's a very important text. It contains everything, So we are very, very, I think, fortunate, and we have this opportunity to learn, and to practice. And if one of these three principles is missing, there is no way to attain liberation, right? You know that. That's why they're called principle. That's why they're called principle. If you have no renunciation mind, no enlightenment. Bodhicitta, no enlightenment. No recognition of the emptiness, the nature of everything, no liberation. So therefore, as a Buddhist practitioner who's really interested, in attain enlightenment, you cannot miss this one of these three principles. We all need these three principles. One of these three principles is missing, then there's no way. We have to understand no way to attain liberation. That's why this is called principle, okay? So you have to understand that. And then three principal aspect of path. So the path, this is the main thing, path, right? So what is path? Path here mean the same as the what do you call it? Four Noble Truth, right? Four Noble Truth. We say the truth of the path. You remember that, right? For in Four Noble Truth. The last one we say the truth of path. This is the same. It is a direct sort of realization of emptiness. If I say like briefly, what is path? What is truth of the path? It is the direct realization of emptiness. Okay, and when we talk about the path, there you have to understand there are five paths, right? Very important. There are five paths. I'm going to give you a very short sort of explanation of these five paths. Okay, so first in Tibetan we say Tsok. Okay, this is path of accumulation. Path of accumulation. We have to accumulate so many things. We have to practice mandala accumulation. We have to practice purification, the accumulation. We have to practice bodhicitta, as and renunciation. All of this we call accumulation. So this is the first part. This is the sort of beginning of the practitioners developing renunciation of this worldly life, okay, and to develop a genuine aspiration to attain liberation. And when someone possesses these two what do you call it? Two motivations, okay? Renunciation, bodhicitta. Renunciation and bodhicitta. Okay? When someone possesses these two motivations, it shows a person, this person is on the path of accumulation. Do you understand? Otherwise, how do we know, path of accumulation? If you have a renunciation mind, if you have a bodhicitta mind, then you are on this path. Okay, and this is we consider to be the very beginning of the Buddhist path. That's how you start. That's how you start. So here Lama Tsongkhapa says three principles path. This is the main thing. Path is the main thing in this teaching. What is the path? Path accumulation. Path of accumulation, we have to accumulate so many good things, okay? We have to purify negative things. So then we will develop, renunciation, bodhicitta. Then you will see. You will on this accumulation path of accumulation. And then the second path is the path of preparation. Okay, preparation. The jorlam in Tibetan, jorlam means like preparation. You prepare, for the what do you call it? The liberation. Attain liberation. So a practitioner on this path is working towards developing the direct realization of emptiness. That's the thing. What you prepare for, direct realization of emptiness. The recognition of emptiness is so important, right? That is the essence of sort of the Buddhist teaching and the enlightenment. So therefore, this is the path of preparation. After the path of accumulation, once you developed, for instance, like mindfulness, there is like a mindfulness. There are four mindfulness, right? Body, feeling, dharma, the phenomena, and then okay, huh? Mind. Thank you. Mind. So there are four mindfulness. So then that's you do that's this kind of practice when you are on the path of accumulation, right? So then you developed mindfulnesses, then automatically you attain this path. Then you are ready to practice sort of emptiness, which is the direct realization of all the nature of phenomena. So that's the path of preparation. You have to prepare this mindfulness. Otherwise, these are the foundation of all the practice. Meditations, mindfulness is very important. Without mindfulness, we can't practice. So therefore, you prepare, on accumulation. In order to do that, then there are so many good methods, to diminish our negative and obstacles, obscurations, all of that. You are prepared, do it on the accumulation path. And then third is in Tibetan we say Tong Lam. Tong means seeing. So third is the path of seeing. Okay, path of seeing. This is when a practitioner will practice profound the concentration meditation on the nature of mind, nature of reality, and as a result, the practitioner is able to realize emptiness completely. Okay, that's why we say this path of seeing, Tong Lam. In Tibetan, Tong means see, Lam means path. Now you see your path. Okay, what is the path? The essence of the path is the concentration meditation on the nature of reality, nature of emptiness, nature of mind nature, all of this. Then you are able to recognize, and you have a capacity, to understand emptiness completely. Then this path is your path of seeing, path of seeing. This is first bhumi, first path. There are 10 bhumis. So when you are on path of sin, then you are the first bhumi, first path. Then you will understand, the middle way, they say emptiness. The Nyingma, the Dzogchen, according to, they say nature of mind, nature of everything, nature of phenomena. You see, you see means not just to see, but this is a realization. That's different than seeing, but we say this is Tong Lam, means like, a recognition of this path. And then the fourth is the path of meditation, Gom Lam, okay? In Tibet, Gom means meditate. Gom means meditate. Lam means path, right? So this is path of meditation. So it is only after a practitioner has completed the path of seeing, okay, the third path of sin, and purified the innate grasping of the self and the subtle imprints of delusion. Then you meditate. Then you meditate after, actually, when you see the nature of your mind, right? According to Nyingma, say after you recognize your nature mind, then you meditate on that. Nothing else. There is no visualizations, there is no recitation. Actually, you just meditate on the nature of mind, then you develop all your qualities, So that's why this path we call path of meditation. You just have to meditate. Now you have everything. You understand emptiness, you understand nature, you understand everything. So then What is your job? Your job is meditate. When you sit, meditate. When you walk, meditate. When you eat, meditate. Everything, whatever you do within your meditation, that's great teachers to do. So meditation. And then the last path is path of liberation. Okay, mulablam means like there's no more meditate. You are done. You are like you attend enlightenment, right? So this is fifth path, the path of liberation. This is when a practitioner has purified all ignorance and imprints of delusions. So then that's your liberation. You have no what do you call it? The afflictions, attachment, anger, ignorance. Instead, you have full of compassion, love, and realizations, wisdom, all of that. That's then you don't have to diminish anything. This path, on this path, and now you have everything. Now, why you meditate? You don't need meditate because you have everything. That's why this is path of liberation. Mulablam means like in Tibet, mulablam, no more learn, no more meditate. You complete it. Everything is completed. So that's we call liberation, or then this person we call enlightened being, right? So a practitioner in this path is all knowing. That's they call it all knowing. You understand everything. So this part, this stage is called enlightenment. Okay, enlightenment. So this happens. It depends, right? This happened maybe this lifetime, maybe next life, maybe many after many lifetimes. So it depends your diligence, your effort. So that's the enlightenment. So these 5 paths, incorporate the entire spiritual journey, and described in the Mahayana from its very beginnings with the taking of the Bodhisattva vow and the generation of relative bodhicitta up until its accumulation at the stage of complete liberation. So that's all these 5 parts. So that is the meaning of the title of this text, path. Okay, paths. So again, you see there are 3 principal aspects of path. So I am going to teach you on the 3 principles of the path for each day. Okay, so the first day, for instance, today is renunciation. Today is renunciation, and then tomorrow is bodhicitta, and then last day will be the correct view of emptiness. By doing that, you will understand them very well. I mean, this is not new. This is not new. You probably heard these teachings thousands of times, right? Renunciation, bodhicitta, emptiness. Many times. It's not new teaching, but it's very, it doesn't mean like I heard many times, you heard many times. That doesn't mean we don't need to heard again or practice it again, right? So because if there is a realization, as I said, if you are on the path of liberation, you don't need this. Right? Other than that, it doesn't matter how many times you heard renunciation. It doesn't matter. Do we have renunciation mind? Probably not, So then you heard many times, but still you need to, study, right? So therefore, do not expect this is total something like he will give us different teachings and that never heard, or very like he will give us magic things, No, we are very familiar. Actually, so you understand that maybe this is very comfortable. You already know what is renunciation, what is bodhicitta, what is emptiness. But we'll study again. Together as a sangha. It's very good. So so then we'll practice and we'll get there eventually. And don't worry about it. And, so this teaching, I received this teaching from Khenchen Jigmé Phuntsok, okay? Khenchen Jigmé Phuntsok, the second, my root teacher. When he taught us, he said that the last night I had a pure vision of Tsongkhapa. Okay, he always, talk about Lama Tsongkhapa. He has. I believe that because he's actually, Nyingma, master. But he actually respect all the four traditions, Karja, Sarcha, all of them, but especially Lama Tsongkhapa, his special connection. So therefore, I think he said that, I had a vision of Lama Tsongkhapa. So therefore, he said, Tsongkhapa said, you should teach this teaching. So that night he had the vision of Lama Tsongkhapa. Then the morning, I want to teach this today. Okay. So since then he taught this many times. Within 1 year, probably 10 times. Like many times. And then he told us you have to memorize this text. So he let us memorize this text because the text is very short, but it contains everything, as I said. So therefore, I received this from Khenchen Jigmé Phuntsok. So so I received this teaching directly, from him. So now you see, I'm only one teacher between you and Tsongkhapa, because I think even like my teacher had Khenchen Jigmé Phuntsok is actually amazing. He had many like different teachers, like his visions of different teachers. So he said I had a vision of Lama Tsongkhapa. It's actually like they talk, very vividly. So therefore, he Lama Tsongkhapa actually gave him the teaching, this teaching, and appears his, Lama Tsongkhapa, and then he taught him. So I received from him. So actually, we are very close to Tsongkhapa, by the way, Tsongkhapa is there. Tsongkhapa is the tanka, the center image is Lama Tsongkhapa, and then the right of his right side, the Jatsabji, and then the left is Kitabji. So those two disciples, so he's the most important disciples, Lama Tsongkhapa. So so therefore, we had a very close sort of transmission. So that is, I think, very fortunate, and that is how I received these teachings. So now I will give you this teaching, and also a written transmission. I will say the root text. I will say also in Tibetan, so that you will receive written transmission from Lama Tsongkhapa to Khenchen Jigmé Phuntsok, Khenchen Jigmé Phuntsok to myself, and then to you. So it's very close transmission. Geluk Nyingma, all the transmission is the thing. Very, very important. Without transmission, then there's no blessing, So therefore, we have a great transmission, and I will give you that. And now we, once you understand the title of this text, and briefly like a biography of Lama Tsongkhapa, and how I receive these teachings. Once you understand that, now the root text, begin with root text said, I bow down to my perfect gurus. In Tibetan, Jipsen Lama Namla Shaksalo. So I said, my perfect gurus, I told you, right, who was the Lama Tsongkhapa's main root teachers. So he respect and he prostrate to his teachers. The same thing we respect and we prostrate to our gurus, and do that is very important, because there is as you know, there is not a single Buddha and bodhisattvas in the past, present, or future, who has achieved or will achieve enlightenment without rely on a spiritual teacher. As the Patrul Rinpoche said that if you practice Guru Yoga, which is Lama Namgyur in Tibetan, so Guru Yoga is about practice your teacher. So the Patrul Rinpoche said that if you practice Guru Yoga, recognition of true nature of the nature of your mind is possible. Okay. He also said, if you practice Guru Yoga, enlightenment is possible. So, I remember when I was in Tibet, my second root teacher, again, Khenchen Jigmé Phuntsok, said, if you practice Guru Yoga, then automatically you will understand the great perfection, which is the nature of your mind. Okay? Why? Because he said the recognition of the nature of mind is to take the teacher's blessings as the path. Okay? Therefore, we need to rely on a spiritual teacher and receive his or her teachings. Atisha Lama Tsongkhapa's also another teacher. I mean, he had a vision. Lama Tsongkhapa had a vision of Atisha, and Atisha said, until you attain enlightenment, you need a teacher. You need a teacher. So he said, follow a spiritual teacher. So until we realize the nature of mind, nature state, we need to learn, right? We need to learn. Therefore, sometimes we study, sometimes we meditate, but we have lots of questions. We don't know, we have, doubt, all of that. So that's why I think we need a teacher, and teacher give you the instructions and help you. So listen to the teacher's instruction is very important. They said all your happiness is teacher's blessing. Your recognition is teacher's blessing. So everything is like that because of the transmission, it's very important. So always remember the Atisha said that you have to follow your teacher. Always remember his kindness. So the teacher, should be recognized or understand as the source of all qualities. Okay, and in particular, in all the secret Vajrayana paths, the teacher alone is regarded as the most important. For this reason, here says Jipsen Lama Namla Shangsalo, before we teach, before we write, we pay homage to our teachers. Therefore, at the beginning of the text, Tsongkhapa says, here the text, right? Bow down to his teachers, and before he teaches, before he write this text, this three principal aspects of path, because with their help, then, as I said, he can teach. He can teach this three principal aspects of path. He can write this. Without his teachers, he can't. As I said, he's not ordinary person, because he had these blessings from his teachers, the visions and blessings from his teachers, body, speech, and mind. Three blessings from his teachers. So therefore he's a special person. So therefore he he can write it. So therefore he's this teaching is very special. And the reason why most of us don't have such visions is because our minds are obscured, right? That's why we don't have visions. We don't see or talk with our teachers, teachers. We can talk Pamasambawa. Right? We just what we can is we visualize him, and we think, oh, he's talking to me, or I receive from him. We just doing that, right? But it's not our vision, because we can't, because our mind is right now obscured, because we have ignorance, attachment, anger, all of that. Obstacles, this obscured our mind. So therefore, there's no view. Otherwise, we don't have this obscurations. When you see a house, is a vision of something, maybe Buddha. You see this house is a Buddha, manifestation of a Buddha. But we don't see that, right? So because that's the thing. We have to practice. I want to see this chapel is a Buddha, but I don't see it. So now that means I understand. I have these obstacles. So therefore we have to practice three principles. So usually there are different kinds of visions, right? So great teachers, vision means like great teachers may appear in our dreams, okay, and then give us instructions. Don't do that, do this. Oh, that's wrong, this is right. They appear in our dreams and then give us instructions. They may also appear and teach us during our meditation. That's happened many times with these great teachers. When you meditate, you suddenly see your teacher or something, and then give you the instructions. Another vision is a direct sort of appearance to sort of mental perception. So this kind of vision is very clear, very vivid, and like in actual meeting. For example, when Manjushri appeared to Lama Tsongkhapa's sense, and the Nyingma teacher, the Longchenpa, appeared to Jigme Langba. You heard this, right? 3 times. When Jigme Langba was in Lhasa, and there is a monastery, and he retreated there like 3 years, and each year, Longchenpa and Jigme Langba actually totally different time. When Jigme Langba, the Longchenpa came, and Jigme Langba, after many years, came Longchenpa. So there are different times. But when the first year he received Longchenpa's the blessings from Longchenpa's body. Second year speech, which was he actually the teachings right now exist, from Longchenpa to Jigme Langba, and then third year heart to heart. So the third year, Jigme Langba had fully sort of the recognition, completely. Because the Longchenpa's blessings. So like Jigme Langba's root teacher was Longchenpa, even though he never, they are totally different times, but doesn't matter. He received the visions and the blessings from Longchenpa. And when also the Nyingma master Mpham Rinpoche appeared to my root teacher, Khenchen Jigmé Phuntsok. So therefore, after Mpham Rinpoche appeared to my teacher, after that, he really had a capacity. He wrote a lots of these teachings. He had 5 volumes right now. All of these are treasure teachings because of after the vision of Lama Mpham Rinpoche, then he just automatically, and I show you last time with a picture. He the like kind of like egg, and then show us. At that time I was there, so like he did this, and then this like looks like egg, and then after that he opened, and then inside there like Dakini text, so that through each text he had lots of teachings. So because of that, because of Lama Mpham Rinpoche, he said that. He told us Lama Mpham Rinpoche appeared to him. So therefore he got, blessing and then capacity to do these things, treasure teachings. So we are very fortunate. We all have that. So therefore, like this kind of visions, if we have enough, like devotion and faith, and then our teachers will appear, appear to us and, give us instructions. And when a teacher and student who both possess the necessary qualities come together, then the process of transformation can begin. And our teachers are the root of our blessings. And in the tantras, the Buddha said that during the time of degeneration, the teachings would be in decline, and accomplished practitioners will disappear. It's actually right this time, right now. But Buddha said in the tantric teachings, Buddha said we should not feel sort of discouraged, oh, now there's no good teachers, and the teachings are not valuable. So we should not think that. Buddha said no sort of discouraged, because the teachers would appear as spiritual teachers to instruct us. So therefore, we have to remember this. Buddha himself said that. So if we have enough devotion, then definitely our teachers will still appear to us. And even during the time of this degeneration, so if we don't have devotion, that's why we said, from the Tantric teachings, the foundation of your recognition nature mind is the devotion and faith. So if we have a devotion, if we you have enough devotion, then our teacher will still appear to us, and then talk actually will talk with us, and it's amazing. That happened many times with the great teachers. So therefore, Lama Tsongkhapa here prostrate to his gurus before he teaches, right? And Now, that's why I just want to let you know that, it's very important, our teachers. That's why our lineage, the pure lineage, is so important, right? So that's why now you understand why the lineage, such lineage, is very important. This is Gelug lineage, this is such a, each tradition has different lineage, but this is very important. That's why after before he teaches Lama Tsongkhapa, he paying homage, and after paying homage, Tsongkhapa makes the commitment to give instruction. Okay, so that is number one, the essential meaning of the Buddha's teachings. In Tibetan, we say "Jaru Songrup Kunjinyang Buton." The path praised by all the holy victors and their children, Jasi Tambanam Jiknyakpa Lam, the gateway of the fortunate ones, desire and liberation, Garden Tandut Namjin Jungokte. This I shall try to explain as much as I can. Jirtar Nivian Dagi Shaparsha, that is his commitment. He make the commitment to give us this instruction. He said, as much as I can, I will explain to you as much as I can. Of course, he can, right? So, Jirtar Nivian Dagi Shaparsha. So, this, the essential meaning of the Buddha's teachings, the first line refers to renunciation. Okay, the first line, right, is the essential meaning of Buddha's teaching. This is the renunciation, and the second line, the path preached by all the holy victors and their children. Holy victors and their children means bodhisattvas. Okay, holy victors. Jasi tamba namji. Jasi means jal means like victors. Si means the bodhisattvas. Bodhisattvas, son of Buddhas, right? That's why we call it son or child or children. So this line refers to bodhicitta. Okay, Jasi tambanam jikakpalam. So Nyakpalam means praised by all the holy victors of children. So that means like bodhicitta is the most important foundation of Mahayana practice. So therefore, this line refers to bodhicitta. And then the third line, the gateway of the fortunate ones, desiring liberation, is the understanding of the correct view of emptiness, which brings liberation. So these three lines, my root teacher, Khenchen Jigmé Phuntsok, when he taught us, he explained this way. Otherwise, they explain different ways. But I just want to explain this way because my teacher say, okay, first line is renunciation, talks about renunciation. Second line is bodhicitta, and then third is the emptiness. Okay, third is emptiness. So and then Lama Tsongkhapa said that he will explain these three principles, right? Now we have to say these three principles, aspects of the path as much as he can. So that's the way he, the three categories of Buddha's teachings relating to the different kinds of training and discipline, concentration, and wisdom, right? Which may also be expressed as training in conduct, joba in Tibet, conduct, meditation, gom, and view, tawa, tar gom chut. Some means also conduct, meditation, and view can all be condensed into the practice of the three levels of capacity, which has been explained as the three principal parts. When we practice them, we practice everything the Buddha's taught. Okay, so that's why it's very important. And then, the second, I'm just enjoying, but it's already the time, like 10. Now, the second, number second, those who are not attached to the pleasures of samsara, who strive to make their life meaningful, who entrust themselves to the path pleasing the victorious ones, you fortunate ones, listen with a clear and pure mind. So this is the request to listen and practice well. Okay, so it tells us what kind of motivation we need when we practice and when we listen to these teachings. And they say the path pleasing the victorious ones is one that is without mystics, and which is a complete path, right? With nothing missing. When we follow such an unmistaken and complete path, this please the Buddhas. So we need to know that we are very, very fortunate to have this precious human life. And we have an unmistaken and complete path. Many traditions, they don't have a complete path. You have to understand that. Many different religions, I mean, not all, but I'm not saying only Buddhism, but many religions, they don't have complete path. They have a good path, right? Good path, but not complete path. Complete path is very important. So this situation did not arise by accident. And all these, beautiful opportunities are not just accident. There are so many causes. There's so many, conditions that are necessary to generate this human birth, human life, and to meet this path, complete path. So if even one sort of casual aspect is missing, it cannot happen. You have to understand that. You see there are many humans, who don't have this freedom and these opportunities. So the root text say, "You fortunate one." You have to understand who is the fortunate one. We are, right? The Tsongkhapa says, "You fortunate one." We need to understand that, we are fortunate. We are fortunate. And the Buddha's precious teachings are for us. And whoever wants to practice them can do that. That's why we are fortunate. The teachings are like, like a medicine. We need this medicine for our suffering. And they heal us and save us from suffering. So this means that we have the opportunity right now. We have the opportunity to achieve our goal through practicing them. And we are so fortunate to have this opportunity. Great teachers, instructions, so fortunate. So we, need to recognize this. We have to understand it. For instance, imagine how difficult it would be for a blind person who find a precious treasure in the garbage. Encountering the teachings is like that. Blind person having the good fortunate to find the treasure in the garbage. Shantandewa say that, right? Way of the bodhisattvas. We are like that. The garbage, what is garbage? Garbage is the samsara. Samsara is garbage. And fortunate, the treasure, what do you call it? This life is we have, right? We have the precious human life. This is the treasure. This is the preciousness. We found this in the garbage, So therefore, like we are blind person, but we have this. We found it the preciousness and in the garbage. So therefore, we have to understand that if we don't understand, if we don't value this life, nothing. You don't. Then we don't feel anything, right? But once you think, oh, I'm so fortunate, I'm very very lucky, then you will think, oh, I don't want to miss this. I don't want to miss it. I don't want to do something. So that's why I think this is Lama Tsongkhapa says, you the fortunate. That means we have to recognize this, and we have all been fortunate enough to be born as a human being. Not only that, not just as a human being, but as one with precious human life, and wonderful and great opportunities. So this is what Lama Tsongkhapa means by you fortunate ones. Okay? Let's stop there. Take a break, okay?